Hello everybody and welcome to Listitis. Today we're going to be counting down my top 10 gaming villains in the modern age, featuring what I believe to be the most memorable, devious, difficult, and just plain cool bad guys in recent gaming history. As always, the names and characters presented on this list are my own personal opinions, and are not meant to sway you in any way, shape, or form. Before we get started though, I never did clarify on my previous list what defines recent memory to me. I consider recent memory to be the last 5 to 10 years of gaming, mostly 10 for me in a decade. I may stretch it occasionally, but I do try to keep it pretty recent, so let's get into it.
Number 10.
Number 10 goes to Killbane from Saints Row 3. I think Killbane is a generic bad guy type, but has a lot more flavor compared to the wish-wash bunch of everywhere else. His attitude, brutality, temper, they all give him that edge that we want to see from a villain. Subtlety is not a specialty. And his background as a character is something that I enjoyed. His rise to fame with Angel as a duo wrestling squad followed by the two splitting. I won't detail too much of what the events were, because of spoilers and everything, but his story is by far my favorite out of what the first 9 Saints Row gang leaders had to offer.
Number 9.
King Yama from Spelunky XBLA. I'll be perfectly honest here, King Yama is the only antagonist of gaming that after 200 hours of playing the game I still have yet to beat once. I did recently though, within the past year. By far the hardest to me, and for many reasons. 1. Reaching him requires a full playthrough of the main game with near perfection. 2. You need to have Kali practically on your side the whole way through for great luck. And 3. Your world can and will generate without some of the things necessary to even reach him. Oh yeah, that's right, there is a number 4, isn't there? After getting through all of that, like some lucky Kali blessed savior of indie games, his fight still has 2 phases you have to get through, and a large pain of an arena to fight in. I could go on, but I will stop there. I'm pretty sure he fits in criteria for this list, thank you very much. And thank you, Derek Yu, for your wonderful creation, and Mossmelt for the HD XBLA remake.
Number 8.
Letho from the Witcher series. Letho is a unique one because the gamer has to try and learn his story and who he is as an antagonist. You usually don't get that in many other big games where you have to actually learn about your villain voluntarily. CD Projekt Red puts the story completely in the hands of the gamer for all 3 chapters of the second game, and that's one of my favorite things about it, the voluntary lore. And Letho is different from most other video game baddies because you spend almost the entire time, trying to find out more about him. But the payoff? It's pretty freaking epic in Witcher 2, and even more epic in Witcher 3. By the way, the introduction to Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, with Letho going out of the it's pretty freaking epic as well. Just play these damn games. Play these damn games. I'm sick of telling you, play the damn games.
Number 7.
Mr. Scratch from Alan Wake. Okay, now this is the first of 3 that I'm putting on this list that I'm gonna refuse to say anything about, because it's incredibly easy to spoil these characters, but what I can say about Mr. Scratch is that he is one of the most remarkable guys to have on a pitching mound when you're up to bat. This guy's personality is one of the best you'll find in a game, and he really unnerves the player character, like truly unnerves you when you're playing. And if you thought that, Alan Wake was complex and unknown, just try this guy out for a try. I mean, Mr. Scratch is goddamn crazy. That's all I gotta say.
Number 6.
Alma Wade from Fear. Oh, Alma. Not many villains, or even just characters, can say that they have scared me speechless, turned me on, made me think and feel sympathy for them at one point or another. Not many can do that. You go from scary little psionic girl, to withered old ghost, to hot babe who's still a little scary, to scary little girl again, and then back to a hot babe who raped me and gets pregnant and is trying to hunt me down with the terrifying superpowers. What other character can say that they have pulled any of what I just said Alma did, other than Alma?
Number 5.
Seath, the motherfucking Scaleless from goddamn Dark Souls. Now here's a messed up bad dude. Seath turned on his own kind for power, killing them all in the process. And with his power, he spent his entire life studying thousands of texts of magic and magical items, soon gathering up enough knowledge to perform his own experiments, eventually failing most of them. But not only did this continuous failings drive him mad, he also had a number of people trying to steal his knowledge away from him. So he had to set up defenses at his archives. He is the true definition of betrayal for power.
Number 4.
Dorman from Shadow of the Colossus. Now, some people out there have probably been expecting this one to be on here. Did you really think he wasn't going to be included? This guy makes any other video game villain look like Jigglypuff covered in daisies. Now, if you happen to notice, this is the second one that I won't go into detail about, but I will say a couple of things that are spoiler-free. Dorman is pure evil. Like, covered in sewage and coal, pure evil. If you haven't played this best game of all time contender yet, I would super ridiculously over the mountain highly suggest you do so. Immediately! And ducking every spoiler in sight to get the full experience, please.
Number 3.
Zachary Comstock. That's more Sean Connery. Okay, here's the big one. Zachary Comstock is the perfect representation of a man who gets so much power and respect that he ultimately makes himself a god in the eyes of those around him. That's bad. And without getting into details, there isn't much else to say on this wonderful villain, except that he is the story behind everything, and that he is so perfectly crafted that even if you don't like FPS-like or style games, this has to be part of your collection. The experience is worth every penny and every minute. If you have the mind for it, that is. This game is kind of a mindfuck.
Number 2.
Pyramid Head. And if you don't know what game he's from, get off of my video. Come on! Having an antagonist list wouldn't be complete without the legendary Lord of Horror himself. There isn't a damn Silent Hill fan on Earth that can say they've never had a nightmare where they were James hiding in that damn closet. You know what I'm talking about. Pyramid Head is a gaming icon, in and out of the horror genre. I know Animal Crossing players that didn't want to play Silent Hill 2 just because of what they heard about him. It's even more fulfilling once you complete the game and find out what's really going on.
And number 1.
Voss. I'm going to start out by saying what everyone else thought halfway through Far Cry 3. Why the hell isn't this guy the main antagonist of the game? He was way better than that fancy dressing loser. There. Now that that's out of the way, yes, he would have been far better served if he terrorized Jason Brody for the entire 20-hour campaign, but what can we do now except enjoy the overloaded awesomeness that is the first 10 or so hours of Voss. He truly made the game what it was. Yes, the world was pretty, the wildlife was beyond amazing, and the other characters were alive as he was. But still, Voss was something special. He added an element that not a lot of other previous games could say they had. A realistic, psychotic villain. Like, this guy was completely fucking Fruit Loops, man. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah, likes, blah 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 blah, subscribe, blah blah blah, comment, blah 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 blah.